Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to a very special episode of Unboxing Thursdays. It will not be 24 hours, but tonight we're talking about some Japanese soft vinyl. I've been kind of eyeing it in the peripherals. Am I buying or, a little bit curious? But we're joined by Attack Peter and Hector from Mondo to talk about that. We're going to talk about some awesome toys and things that we're opening for the holidays coming up soon. So sit back, enjoy the show, and please soak in your weekly unboxing therapy. DK.
What's today? It's Thursday.
Hello there, toy collectors. My name is Kevin, aka Toying Around, and I am very excited to bring you this special review.
If anything, the Kim family, they're archetypes.
Which is sad, but not always a bad thing.
I'm okay, I have one.
Do you see all the name?
Let's try them. Let's still try.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, what I do every week is I open some collectibles, some of the newest that are available out there, and I get to share it with you in the chat or on the replay. And of course, my good friend DK here. How you doing, DK?
Not bad. How are you, bro?
How are you recovered from our 24-hour live stream?
Took me I think I only recovered like Wednesday.
Oh, it took okay.
Yeah, it took a while. It feels like.
That's pretty good. What was there anything out of the ordinary that you felt up until
exhausted?
Wednesday? Just exhausted?
Exhausted, mentally drained for sure.
Yeah, Monday I was doing my normal stuff, but it felt like I was remoting in from a drone or something, and I felt really tired. I told my wife I didn't really feel like having energy to do much, and then CJ hits me up. And then he's like, "Hey, do you want to play ball tonight from 8 to 10?" And I go, "Yeah, honey, is it cool if I go play ball tonight? Do you need me around?" She's like, "Oh, I thought you were tired." So that was the tough one to pull off, but we were able to do it.
Nice.
Before I bring on our guests, I want to say thank you to everyone who watched the live stream, who donated towards our goal. We had a 24-hour live stream to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. We raised, our goal was $10,000. We were close. We raised $8,600 due to the incredible generosity of all the collectors, everyone who watched, everyone who donated prizes, all the guests, the enablers that were able to put together a 24-hour program of, I think, pretty solid entertainment. Thank you everyone so much. And we're going to look to do it every year. It's an awesome event, awesome cause. And there's no reason to let it sit idle when we can make a difference this holiday season.
That is true. Again, thank you. Thank you to the community. Thank you to the Butter Nation. Thank you for everyone involved, and all the donations. We accomplished something amazing. So
yeah, we did.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did. All right. Let's bring on our guest. We have joining us tonight. Back to the channel again. It's always a good chat. They're sitting in somewhere, no doubt, undoubtedly very warm right now. Please welcome back to the show, Peter and Hector from Mondo. And I'll click them in. DK got it, man.
Click them in.
No, stop. Hands up. There it is.
That was awesome. I was waiting to get phased in.
Hey, you guys, how's it going, man?
Made it. Good, man. Listen, you knew what you were getting yourself into living in Canada, bro.
I had no choice. I asked my dad, I go, of all the places from Hong Kong, why did you choose to emigrate to Canada and not Hawaii? And my mom said, "Oh, your dad's afraid of earthquakes."
They have them in Hawaii?
I don't know. I thought so. I don't know. That's what. Wait, do they
How
not?
does he feel about trucker strikes?
Impartial. No, not on either. Not on one
side.
Snowstorms
He's okay with blizzards.
So the thing is, he went to university in Buffalo, so I think he was already acclimated to that.
Basically.
But I don't know how you go from Hong Kong to Buffalo and go, "Yeah, this is what I want."
Yeah, I don't know. Hawaii sounds like a good deal.
Right?
Dude, Pat, it's not that he landed in Canada that's a problem. That's fine. It's that if he had the option for Hawaii and said no, that would hurt.
Yeah, I choose Hawaii over California any day.
Really?
I
You
mean,
been to Hawaii, bro?
I
Me?
haven't.
or you?
No,
Who?
Kevin.
I
You guys
Kevin?
haven't been?
No.
That's why you don't know.
Yeah. It's a
Weirdest thing
paradise,
about
man.
Hawaii
When
is
you get there, it's
yeah. Everybody you talk to who lives in Hawaii who isn't like an indigenous native Hawaiian is like they came on vacation and I'm just staying here, and it's so many people, dude. So
Really?
many people. Yeah. It's pretty good.
That sounds dangerous.
food's amazing.
Yeah, food's
It's
everywhere
hot
you
all
go.
year round. I
Yeah.
think
And
the
they have
lowest
good
it gets
trips.
is like 70 during the day.
Yeah.
And I heard pineapples taste better there, right?
They
does.
do 100%. That is not a lie.
All the fruit tastes better there.
All fruit, but pineapples especially are delicious. They have like an orange kind of tint to them. They're not
Really?
like the standard yellow ones that you get, or the ones that have like the brown outside. The outside of it is like kind of a little squishy and orange.
Hasn't rotted yet, is what Hector's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it hasn't been
pure pineapple.
hasn't been
No, it's the
transported
best.
yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, I love Hawaii. I've only been there. I've been there twice, and I was there this past summer with my family, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm planning to retire in Japan, I think.
Oh, talk about another place I'd give up to just be like, let's move there now.
Wouldn't that be better? Well, I don't know about better, but food's good, right?
Food's great. Good.
Food's
Good
fantastic.
and cheap.
Especially
Toys,
cheap and
obviously.
Toys
Are you
everywhere.
afraid of work? Are you afraid of
Toys-
earthquakes, Kev?
No, I don't. I think I'm good.
Yeah, there's
I think I'm
earthquakes
good.
there and tsunami warnings.
Dude, I had my first
Kaiju.
earthquake in California this year, and I'd never experienced one in real life, and it was the weirdest one because it just felt like someone had Hadouken up the freak or like the uppercut.
It was
underground.
like a Suryuken
Yeah, it was
more of a Shoryuken.
building. Yeah,
like that. 'Cause that's all it felt like. A car crashed into the earth underneath me. That's what it felt like.
Wow.
it was a
Crashed
weird
up-
one though. I lived in California my whole life, so I was around when the Northridge earthquake happened and all that kind of stuff. And that earthquake that you felt, dude, during Monster Palooza, I've never felt one like that before. It was like someone, like, he's not wrong. It's like someone punched the earth for like a second. It was like, and you go, and it
was
nothing else.
crazy, dude.
It was real weird.
Interesting.
Hollow Earth confirmed, bro.
Oh man,
Maybe it
Normally
was
it
like
sways. There's a sway.
Nah.
You feel like you're on a boat. Like
Oh,
this,
really?
you know? It's kind of like that.
This was like
you know?
just like this.
This was just like someone like was pissed.
Yeah, that's why I live in
punched
Miami,
the
dude.
ground
Just some wind.
hard.
It's fine.
But
Yeah,
don't
You
you?
get hurricanes and all.
Hey, welcome
sorts
to
of
Weather Talk
crazy-
on Toying Around. This is gonna be another 24-hour stream, so we're filling time.
You can
we'll
go.
talk
You
about
can
that,
go.
or we
you can
talk
go
about
get-
crackers, right?
Stretch it out.
Yeah,
Stretch it
Cracker
out.
Talk.
Come at you.
Elite Cracker Talk.
Can we not say cracker talk without context? Peter was eating biscuits prior to the stream, and we were
They're
trying to find out the
Raincoast
content.
Crisps. Raincoast Crisps.
Okay, I'm just
And,
gonna add this. So YouTube, okay, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, guys, jeez,
It
DK,
says
come on,
crackers
dude.
right there. It says crackers right there.
No, you can't just say like we're the careful
Cracker.
emojis, chat. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. All right, those do look good. I'm gonna add them to the shopping list this weekend.
Get 'em,
It looks
bro.
like a Whole Foods kind of thing.
Yeah,
isn't
or
it?
Sprouts. You can get my Sprouts.
It's fancy crackers.
Yeah.
I think that's
You
probably
won't catch
taken out of context in a weird way too. If
Yeah.
if someone just tuned in right then.
It's
So we are talking about biscuits,
edible snacks.
edible snacks that are delicious,
You guys
or
are-
maybe too fancy for some.
Or is it cannibalismtv.com? And that's what we're doing right here. We're talking about eating fancy crackers.
hey,
you
everyone.
have to go full circle there. And
Yeah,
it's just
come on, Kevin, take control of your stream, bro. I'm gonna torch this thing if you don't.
Hey, if it goes for another 24, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. Hey, but I'm happy to have you guys back. Again, I've been, looking since our last stream, and we were talking about how I started buying Keshi and things like that, and then seeing more and more of the soft vinyl stuff. Well, you guys have always been putting it out, and it's just more. It's weird. We were talking about the natural evolution, maybe of a collector that Peter calls it. And like something like this, I wouldn't have looked at I looked at it in the past, and I went, no, this isn't so great. It's not really for me. But then the more I see it, and I'm like, okay, this looks really cool. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to be. I'm not buying articulated figures to take photos as much anymore and do setups and things, which I loved to do, and it's still
awesome.
part of my brain. Like when you see a new toy and like, oh, look at all those accessories, I'm gonna use this for this photo, and it's been like 5 years I haven't done one yet. But like,
what's funny is, oh, go ahead.
No.
I'll say it's funny because I feel like once you're in this realm of toy collectors, you're obviously collecting differently than you did when you were younger or when you were a kid and you had toys given to you, right? Or whatever. So like, I think it depends on your taste. Obviously there's different forms of that, but at this point, I think I don't know how you have a collection if you're not curating to some degree, right? If you're just getting everything, like just keeping everything coming in, I mean, that's insane. I know there's some people out there, but
that would be nuts.
Like even DK has the nice curation and the details with the light. You know, you're picking and choosing what's going on top shelf, bottom shelf for different reasons, whatever they are. Like that's curated. And so at some point, I just think that you either, you get into like super realistic, detailed stuff. Maybe you, instead of getting like 10 different, 6-inch figures from Target, you get like a Hot Toy figure or a 6-scale deluxe. Or instead of getting like little blind box figures or whatever, maybe you start to discover soft vinyl figures and how they kind of scratch that itch of like statement pieces where the colors pop. It's like figures as art, and then and then high-end 6-scale stuff or statues some people collect. It's just because, like you said, Kevin, you're not doing the same thing anymore that you used to, and so now you just choose them as an aesthetic. And the reason we like soft vinyl, as we'll get into, is because unlike the other stuff, statues or high-end 6-scale figures and stuff like that, it's not something that you have to be too precious about. And so it kind of rewards that instinct you have as a collector of figures and toys to grab them, to still pose them, move them around, and know that you can put them on a shelf or your desk or whatever it is. And it's like a nice, clean statement piece for your collection.
Yeah, they're definitely more appealing to when I look at the shelf and go, oh, if you look over there, you look at it and you go, wow, like look at the colors behind you on, and under the lights there, Peter. And then Hector's too. Every time you hop on and I see all the ones behind you, right? It's always like, wow, like that just brings this certain feeling in your body. It just lifts you up. It just feels so cool. All like the colors and stuff. So I've been watching some videos on YouTube of like how a lot of like the software is made in these. I always think of these huge factories in Asia, and sometimes I see some of these videos. It's like a little, I don't want to say like a little garage, but not a crazy building.
It is sometimes, yeah. It is.
And then like it's a couple people, they make the molds. Well, I don't want to. Do you like? Can you give like a quick process?
Yeah, I think Hector, I think maybe it's a good idea to delineate between like soft vinyl figures and Sofubi, right? Like there's like
sure. I mean, well, Sofubi is basically, it. I don't know, Peter. I guess you'd say, the term obviously comes from Japan, right? So it's
SOFVI. Some people write it as, and I think it's like a soft vinyl. Soft. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a word that went back and forth.
Soft vinyl. I got
it. And there's a couple different methods, right? The highly sought after Japanese soft vinyl and Sofubi usually is done through a slush method. So this slush method is a more like handheld method of doing it, and it's not super. It's like precise because it's like the art form of making the mold and pouring the vinyl and slushing the vinyl in a certain way.
Right.
It's very in a way like kind of similar to like if you have someone casting like resin statues or something like that in the garage, and you have to like pour the resin and rotate it around. It's like that's where you get like your marbling effects really well, because you can pour a color move it around, and then pour another colorway and be very deliberate of where you want it. And then there's like the more mass soft vinyl production where it's like rotovinyl, which is a lot of primarily what we do at Mondo, because with rotovinyl, you can do a lot of high, like detail, like very like X plus figures.
Or an X plus figure.
Yeah. They have and retained a detail of like of like
Good Lord.
a PVC statue,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Or
It's
a resin statue, right? Like as it gets so crisp, the details are so crisp, but it's still vinyl. So Peter can throw that on the ground. It's probably not gonna break.
You can kind of hear it.
It's super light.
That's so cool.
And it has the detail of a high-end, like, you know, sideshow statue, right? And that is all roto vinyl. And
This is how I got hooked, honestly, because I was looking for the high-end detail, but I get bummed out when I'm like, I don't want to touch the statue that I used to collect or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just want to be able to grab this, pull off the shelf, pose it. I use it as drawing reference sometimes. So that's why I fell in love with the idea of vinyl figures. But this is vinyl just because of the medium. And then so what we're talking about is not only the medium, but as Hector's saying, like there's an aesthetic to it.
Yeah. So the manufacturing process of it with roto vinyl, you can get more detail and but still get similar effects, right? You can still determine like the hardness of the vinyl, and you can determine how much you know, if you want glow or glitter infused with it, or it's clear. It's very similar to the slush mold process, but it's a machine and it spins super fast, and you can get the vinyl into tiny little crevices, right? Whereas slush method, you're usually, when you see a simpler sculpt, it's in soft vinyl, it's probably a slush. And so a slush allows you, it's easier for like, you know, more straightforward sculpts that don't have a lot of like undercuts and stuff like that in it. So
okay. So like the roto spins it around so that it makes sure it gets into even like the weirdest angles on your design and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a high speed spin, but it's a machine doing it at that point.
Yeah. And but you know, in Japan they do both, but where it's really an art form, and just like anything in Japan, that it's very, you know, the craftsmanship and what you get into in like what you choose as being your career, right? It's taken very seriously. So Fubi making is very serious, and it's very much still there, and it can be an independent artist avenue, right? Like, so yeah, you're right. Like there are factories in Japan that are huge, and they make soft vinyl toys, right? And PVC toys and all that kind of stuff. But then there's like a guy's garage,
right?
And he can, in Japan, you can use and make vinyl, like pour vinyl and do all that kind of stuff. And that's where you get those really sought after rare things where it's like, that's the next aspect. Yeah, this individual artist is now making a one-off, right? Or a 1 of 10 or a 1 of 20 or maybe 70, and they're all poured by him and they're all painted by him. And, you know, like that, or her, or whoever it is that's making it, right? Yeah. But that's what's kind of cool about, you know, what I love about the Japanese soft vinyl scene, because it's like, it can be very, very limited and sought after stuff that like it's here in the States or in Canada or anywhere else that like
you can't get it.
You can't, it's very hard to get unless
you'd have to go through a Japanese website or someone who knows someone. So that, and that's kind of how Mondo got established, is that we were one of the first companies who was given the permission to do soft vinyl Godzilla figures stateside. Okay. And so because of that, people were able to get like Hector's 84 Godzilla that's over his left shoulder, and the Hedorahs and a Jet Jaguars. Those were like the first ones that Mondo came out with. And suddenly you could get the soft vinyl Godzilla with all the colorways and all that kind of stuff in the States accessible. You just go on the website and order. They were hard to get, and they would sell out super fast.
Yeah, before you know, at least when I was a kid, and it was very difficult to buy anything Godzilla, right, or anything Ultraman, other than like if you went like Toys R Us for a while, they had like the Trendmaster stuff, right? But that was like a mix of like big action figure toys that were maybe a mix of vinyl and PVC, and you know, Ultraman had, like, when they had that show back in the day, had some soft vinyl toys made by Bandai at Toys R Us. But other than that, all the Bandai Godzilla soft vinyl figures, you'd have to get them at like Japanese markets. You have to go like Mitsuwa or Murokai, a couple of those that were here, at least in California. So yeah, with Mondo got the opportunity and to do soft vinyl Godzilla, it was very much like we were one of the first, if not the first, to be able to stylize Godzilla stateside, and then do the soft vinyl treatment, because usually the stylization was always reserved to Japan.
There's so much to learn. I was chatting with our friend Irving. Shout out to Irving. I think he's in the chat. What's
Irving's the
going on?
best.
Shout out to Irving for
Shout
sure.
out.
Plug. His new nickname is the Plug.
Is it as straightforward as that? Is there a backstory?
Yeah, like he's a connector. You know, he puts everything together.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Although apparently, Peter has a grievance with you, Irving. You're gonna probably.
What
hear
was
about
it? What was the grievance?
The scheduling for tonight.
Oh, that we didn't realize that tonight was a Game Awards. It's okay. I was like kind of scrolling through it. Nothing too exciting.
What do you guys play? What do you like? What do you? What
I'm on
games
Fortnite and Rocket League nightly. After
Nice.
work, I do a little bit, and we jump on Discord with some friends. Hector plays real video games.
The last thing I played because I got sucked into it was the Elden Ring DLC. Which
that's a
I
real video game.
was into that for a good minute, and then that kind of like took it out of me for playing video games for a bit. So I'm taking a little break, but I always play stuff with my kids and stuff. You know, Mario Party, Mario Kart, Smash Bros, like that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fighting game fan, so like
we love Mortal
Kombat, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom, all those. Like I'll always pop in and play.
Every time a new Mortal Kombat character drops, I fire it up.
You got all fired up.
Yeah, I was like, let's put on the old Tournament of Champions.
I do want to bring up something else though, with like the colorways and stuff. But I just want to ask real quick: do you guys have anything to open tonight?
I did just get
That's a good question. I forgot that was the thing.
my sample of Bane 1/6.
You can open that.
Yeah.
I don't. No, I don't. But
Nothing that he can reveal
I can. Yeah, you can get something
when we get to that point.
Okay,
But,
okay.
But yeah, so but I wanted to make sure that we established that because I know I was watching you the other day and like I could tell that you're learning about the whole category, and it's not that much to learn truly. It's just that you usually have less articulation, more options for colors and variants. They're usually much more limited. They're not as available. Like, you know, with our soft vinyl stuff, there might be a total of 1,000 units of a sculpt, but broken up into different colors, you know?
Right.
Whereas if you're going to get like a Marvel Legend or something that's like that, there's usually like 10,000 units or so out there or more, you know, depending on the character. And so that's part of the chase and the excitement around it. So the big thing this year for us was introducing other collectors and other fandoms to the idea of soft vinyl, or reintroducing for some people.
So I think that might be, you know, working in my case. You know, like I'm not a big Godzilla person. But those designs, obviously, like you can't deny how cool they look, especially some of the final products that are put out and the different colors. And last week, my friend Yoko was opening some, and I was like, oh man, that's such a cool color, the pink one. And then Irving messaged me, he's like, we don't call it pink, you peasant. And I was like, chill. It's my
Oh, was it a cherry blossom?
Yeah, cherry blossom. But he's like, there's
Irving knows, bro.
It's like a candle industry or something. There's a fancy name for each thing.
Yeah.
The only Asian who doesn't like Godzilla. I don't know who that is in the chat, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I'm moving to Japan, so you know that counts for something.
But you know what it is? It's like, yeah, you're right, Kevin. It's not. There's a lot of people who like Godzilla, but they're not going to buy a Godzilla figure. That's obviously like what we were thinking when we started talking about doing soft vinyl for other IP, other franchise, because I think as a toy collector, when you hold a soft vinyl figure, you get it. But it's hard to get people there unless there's a character that they care about or want to, you know. And then so the Juggernaut was one that we thought about, made total sense, although it's not the first Marvel soft vinyl figure because you got Man-Thing up here.
Yeah, so I think there's what I love about soft vinyl,
get this thing,
and what I love about the, you know, just the whole medium of it is that it is very much artist driven, right? It is like through the lens of whoever is sculpting it or designing it. It's not so much made by committee. You know what I mean? It's not meant to necessarily be like, oh, we're gonna make millions of dollars off of this vinyl. It's more like this artist had a vision. They want to see it through. soft vinyl is a way to make it not as expensive as doing PVC or doing more traditional toy routes, and you can still get your artistic vision through and add some, articulation here and there, right? So, and for the example of like Man Thing that you have on screen, like this was James Groman's his vision on Man Thing, right? Like this wasn't
details,
like,
man.
Yeah,
it wasn't like Marvel gave us a reference or anything. This was just James was like, this is what I want to see as Man Thing and in soft vinyl. And this is a great example of how detailed you can get with soft vinyl, because in this particular case, we were working with Acro, who does a lot of soft vinyl figures for X Plus that Peter just put out or showed. But you can cram it with detail and really get more of like it's more like an art piece,
Right.
that also just looks really great on your shelf, right? So that's one of the things I love the most about soft vinyl, and I think it's hard to pinpoint what is soft vinyl, right? What defines it? You have the retro looking stuff from Japan, but you also have this kind of stuff too.
You know what I compare it to? It's like for someone who's never been to San Diego Comic-Con, if you tell them like San Diego, like you go Comic-Con, that could refer to the event that's taking place inside the convention center, or it could refer to the season where the entirety of San Diego converts to be like supporting Comic-Con, right? In an official and unofficial way. So with soft vinyl, it's literally referring to the material. Sometimes it's also referring to the idea that it's a stylized artist-driven figure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say first off that your website's spinning too fast. But also, like, to really get a look at like the details here, it's like
just click next, bro. Guys,
talk to your
look, it stopped. There you go.
Oh, thank God.
This guy's panicking already, dude. Irving, dude, help him. Don't send him any more moving. Don't watch movies. Just get the reel and go like this.
Yeah. Even those ones, the old clicking ones, those are too fast. Too fast. We have a super chat. Dia, can you read this super chat from our friend Johnny Cock, please?
Johnny Cock is a big Fubi collector. Thank you for the
great
5
artist,
Hot
by the
Wheels.
way.
Yes,
Fantastic
he is.
artist.
Hi, Hector and Peter. I'm addicted to your vinyl toys. Are you guys doing market research on the viability for Ultraman and Gamera Sofubi through Mondo?
We are the market research, bro.
It's hard to say. It's funny because we don't. A lot of what happens at Mondo happens because we're fans. So we have the blessing of being a part of Funko, who help us get licenses, right? So it's more about like, if we're a fan, then and we believe in it and we have a good idea, we're going to put it out, right? We're big fans of Ultraman, we're big fans of Gamera. So I definitely wouldn't say that we would never do it, because for sure it's one of those things where like Ultraman makes total sense for us because of our history of doing Godzilla and all, and other and now going into soft vinyl with other properties, like Ultraman would make sense.
I'm a huge Ultraman fan, and also Gamera, of course, and would love to do it. Part of my thinking on it is that if we did Ultraman, because Ultraman in Japan is bigger than Godzilla, believe it or not. Like when I was there, I was surprised how, yes, Godzilla has the big hotel, and yes, Godzilla's the king of the monsters for sure. But first, it seems like you see Ultraman everywhere, dude. Like there was an Ultraman advertisement selling like male, like hair products. You know what I mean? Like in the subway, in the trains. It's like he's just like omnipresent. But in the States, Ultraman never really popped off. So like that the Netflix movie is amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, Ultraman Rising, everybody can get into that. You don't have to know anything about it. And then in the 90s, like Hector said, there was an Ultraman show on like Fox Kids in the morning or whatever you guys had.
Ultraman the Great, right? Was that Great? What was it? Was it the Great?
It was just Ultraman. Ultraman. I forgot. I had some subtitle, but it was basically an Ultraman show. And they made comic books of it through Dark Horse at the time. It was like it had a moment, and I had the figure, not really knowing what it was. I just loved the figure, and then, but it, so I think if Mondo did something like that, it would be partially because we're big fans, but also because we want to like spread the word of how cool Ultraman is. And if you haven't seen the 60s Ultraman show, dude, it's just like Scooby-Doo with kaiju. Like there's like a science patrol, which is like the mystery machine, the team. But also like he doesn't just do like blasts and stuff. He puts monsters in chokehold. He's punching them in the stomach, like it's just like awesome,
Cuts off their
dude.
limbs.
Yeah, he pulls tails off. It's so good. It's so fun. It's like 22 minutes and you're in and out.
Yeah,
Heck yeah,
Let's watch.
that sounds great.
But yeah, with what we started with Godzilla, right, was just our love for soft vinyl toys, right, and then being able to get the blessing to stylize it, right, was great. And then we approached Marvel with that same intent, and luckily for us, they've been really supportive and just kind of let us do whatever we will submit, and it's like it works out, and it's like they're like, this is awesome, go for it.
Yeah, so Man-Thing we put out.
Man-Thing paved the way for that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Werewolf by Night.
Something like this.
Yeah.
What's the painting process like? Because like there's little bits here, there's little bits over here. Like, are these all individually? I don't even know how you would go about this, because it looks so intricate, right? With all the veins going through all the different areas, right?
It has to be painted by hand for the most part. I painted this one. I painted the prototype for this one that we sent to the manufacturer to then try to copy what I was doing and reproduce it. I don't remember how many of this one we made. I think it was like 500 units. But yeah, it was very much like a process of painting it, and you have to get basically all your colors in, and then I would do a wash technique to get all the blacks into all those crevices,
right,
and then wipe that off so that you could you get it all seeped in there, while still retaining all the base colors that you added. But all those base colors had to be like painted all by hand, or
Wow.
there's not much airbrushing here because there's so many details that it had to be,
you have to be very specific with this, right?
Yeah.
Because some of the other ones you look at, you can see kind of like a gradient of maybe one paint type to the next area.
Yeah, like this one is more traditional, like vintage Sofubi painted, right? So like this is the Godzilla UFO by Octeil. Octeil, an amazing artist who's been a tattoo artist for a long time. I discovered his work on Instagram, just doing cool kaiju tattoos. And so now he's releasing his first Mondo figure, the Godzilla UFO. And it's just great because it feels like it has a contemporary feel to it in the sculpt and the design, which is based on his tattoo flash. But the paint application, which he painted this one, has a more of a traditional styling to it. So it's like oversprays, right? Like the vinyl is one color. In this case, I'm pretty sure the vinyl's pink. And then they paint, he painted over the hits of the blue and the gold and the spikes, but it's very much like what can be done with an airbrush. And then here, you get the details in the eyes, and then the same thing with the UFO. So it's a really rad piece, but this kind of aesthetic is more an homage to the way Sofubi was painted in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
That thing. So what would you call that colorway? This theme? Is there?
What do we call this one?
That one
hasn't come out yet, right?
It hasn't come out yet. No, I don't remember. I think it's Planet X or something.
Yeah,
we showed it off at DesignerCon, but
pink.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's great about it is that for us, I think it's difficult for an action figure buyer to see a soft vinyl figure, especially the ones that are more intended to be retro or look retro, to see that and then see that it's like $80 or $90.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's kind of like the sticker shock of soft vinyl, a lot of it, because the figures at times are simpler than, like a Marvel Legends or an action figure that you buy at Target, right? Like
a reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Like there is a level of, I guess, educating the consumer of why is it worth this? Why should it be this much when it looks like this? Right. I think that's a little less of a issue when it comes to something like Man-Thing, right? Because you see all that detail, you see everything, or something like this, like the the James Groman Godzilla that we did, which is this is all soft vinyl too, right? Like the entire thing. But you could see why this would be like, $200 or something like that. It's just
it's massive,
crazy. But the appeal
and
about
swappable parts.
Yeah, the appeal about the other ones is its rarity, its limited nature, who the artist is that worked on them, where it was made, and so forth. And it really just boils down to just you're buying something that, if you get to it and it sells out, like you have something really special. Like it's like there aren't many out there of that one thing. So
yeah,
I think that's where the price comes, but that's always been the toughest part. So luckily with Marvel, we've been able to bridge that gap because we've been able to introduce people who are Marvel fans and like yourself, not necessarily a fan of kaiju maybe, or like, Godzilla or even Ultraman or whatever, but you're a fan of maybe Juggernaut, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, this is a really cool new way of seeing Juggernaut, right? Like I don't know of a Juggernaut figure that looks like the one we put out, right? Yeah. So being able to bring that kind of aesthetic to Western properties,
right? Yeah, like our Michael Myers that we did, which this is a perfect example of something that's made to look like it came out in the 60s or 70s in Japan. Mm-hmm. So when we designed it, it's like clearly it's not meant to be cinema accurate with all the details and all that kind of stuff. It's like it actually was difficult to nail this simplified sculpt because we're like, okay, you can't just simplify it, meaning like remove textures and intricate paint applications. You have to simplify it to in a way that's attractive, feels authentic, like it could have existed back then alongside stuff that did come out back then. Mm-hmm. And so that was a challenge because like myself, Hector, and then our sculptor, Aaron McNaught, who did a great job on these. We're all fans of that medium. So we're all like passing it to each other for like a sniff test. Like, does that feel right? Does that feel right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's actually, what it reminds me of is like Sumier painting, like ink drawings. It's like, how much can you convey with very little? Like, how much do you actually need to get the character across or get the image across, and then stopping there and resisting the urge to put just a little bit more detail, a little bit more,
like a minimalist approach almost.
Yeah, or like us with all the technology available to us today, trying to emulate the aesthetic of a manufacturer or an engineer back then who was limited with their technology, with their machinery, whatever they could actually produce. So the aesthetic back then was more driven probably by the fact that these were toys for kids. They were meant to be simple, easy to reproduce, and that cheap, and not going to break when a mom buys it for her kid. And so that created this aesthetic that now attracts people as adult collectors that you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the biggest draw, and Johnny mentioned this in the chat, and he is the ability. What drew me to soft vinyl was the colors, right? Was seeing like my favorite character, but in a color that I never thought would be possible.
Yeah,
right.
Speaking of Gamera, look at this one.
Speaking of Gamera, right? Like both Peter and I got this figure. I got it at DesignerCon, but it's like, he's amazing. He's like just a hot pink Gamera with some metallic gold and green.
I'm waving these toys.
Your blues are brighter, by the way. Look at the difference.
Under the chin there. That's a nice glow.
Yeah, and see Hector's got like a more saturated blue on his. Like it's like almost like a blue green. Mine's like more of like a sky blue on the knees. So there's little things like that will make them not the same,
But it's that, and when I have them on a shelf, it's like they draw my eyes in, right? They draw my eyes, and they encourage you to pick them up and encourage you to touch them and encourage you to play with them a bit. So that's what I love about it, and that's what drew me in, and that's what we kind of aspire to be. So when we're doing any property, whether it's Michael Myers or Halloween or Godzilla, we kind of go down that path. That's like our goal. It's like, oh well, what would Michael Myers look if he was bright green and like whatever, like a color you wouldn't expect.
It feels like that toy style works with a lot of horror fans too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's we're betting that there's a crossover at least. There isn't a ton of it out there, but there's like a gnarly side to soft vinyl where it's like all about like, you know, gross stuff and gore and all that. That's not my bag, but there is definitely that. But what we did when we approached like American Werewolf in London is is like we made the toy that we wanted for us.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's the other one of the other colorways looks.
Yeah. So there's different
so
colorways of them, which is also really cool. But also like, again, like how do you walk that line where it could feel contemporary and vintage at the same time? That's been our challenge, and we're really pleased with the results. But then when you get into something like our turtle line, right? Like our turtle line is designed for a turtle collector. And the funny thing is that turtles had a lot of figures come out when we were kids that were soft vinyl.
Right.
They were just like mass produced soft vinyl. You know what I mean? And so we didn't really think about it, and it wasn't, you know, any kind of like homage to like Japanese soft vinyl, but the material was there. And so when we designed these figures, it was the same idea as like, can we make something that is more about the sculpt, that the sculpt can like be reproduced in different colors, that it's kind of like an iconic pose or iconic take on a character, and people will start collecting these, hopefully is our goal. Like maybe you just like Leo, but you love the green Leo. You want the black and white Leo. Maybe we do another variant that's like a glow in the dark one. And you start to, in your turtle fandom, start emulating and feeling what like kaiju collectors have felt forever, which is like, God, I just love that Hector 84 Godzilla so much. I want every colorway of it. And then I'm going to display every color of it and in a row. And that creates like a little art installation in your collection.
Kind of like the only way that I can kind of relate is like the Transformer jets, the Seekers, where it's just like, I want every different color, all the different ones, right?
100%, dude. When something connects, like a sculpt connects, like that's an awesome feeling. And you're like, and then sometimes other ones don't resonate as hard, and you're like, well, why am I going to buy the one I don't even want? I'd rather have a different color than one I like.
Yeah, that's actually really good point. Yeah, because if all the different colors look cool. DK, can you embiggen me for a second? Hector and Peter, so we were talking about this a few weeks ago.
Hikari.
And I was looking around and I'm like, I have something similar. So I found this was in I think someone gave this to me. Unfortunately, Leo, you know, not the best turtle.
Who's your favorite turtle?
Currently, Raphael.
Currently.
I think it changes, right? It switches as you grow up or you change. Raphael was my favorite as a kid. I liked his angst.
Yeah.
Now I think I like, and Donnie was my favorite to play in video games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the
extra reach with the
the reach, man. And I think Leo right now is one of my favorites.
Leo's your favorite now? I'm
now.
I was Donatello and Raph when I was a kid, but now I'm more Michelangelo.
Okay. Party dude. Wearing shorts all day. I see it.
That's it. Well, you know, we are Legion.
Whoever gave this to me years ago, I remember looking at this and I go, oh, cool. I don't collect this stuff. You know, I'm into action figures. This, and it's been sitting in the corner over there. And then now that, you know, all this talk over the last few weeks, I'm like, okay, I took another look at this and I go, oh wait, I don't remember this glitter like this before. I'm like, this looks cool. Like when the light hits it, I thought it looks really awesome. And then you can see like the spray on the shell there. Like I was talking about, I'm like, wait, should I open this?
Yeah, you can open it. It's not, dude. It's like, so here's the funny thing about that. Like before you open it, like put it down again so you can show. This is Funko is a Funko product that was made, you know, and it's interesting because if you know about soft vinyl, you start and you get into it, you start to learn like who are the factories that make this and where are they located and like what makes it super authentic. And Hector, you were telling me about Hikari that it's like it's kind of legit, right?
Yeah. It was from what I know, the manufacturer that they use was they're made in China, but the person who trained them how to do it in a Japanese style of a squash casting, and he was from Japan.
Yeah, that says right there, handmade. Inspired. This is the thing that got me. Handmade and crafted, inspired by Japanese vinyl, designed in the USA, made in China.
It's that kind of stuff matters to soft vinyl collectors. You know, to some people at least. And then, you know, it's the one thing that's unusual about it is that when it says limited edition, it's limited to 3,000 pieces. which is way higher of a run than most soft vinyl stuff will ever hit. So that's why it probably didn't connect as hard as like traditional soft vinyl. And then it's one artist's vision, right? So like that's a unique vision on the turtle and unique stylization. So that would be different from how we're stylizing the turtles. But yeah, it's
$10,000 or something, is it?
Nah, dude.
Okay.
Just go on completed items, man. You see. There's some cool ones out there too.
Yeah,
I think Hikari, it was, I think Hikari was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe the wrong time.
Yeah. At the time, I know that the founder of one of the original founders of Funko, like Mike Becker, he's a huge Sofubi soft vinyl fan. He loves all that stuff. So they as fans, and I think genuinely as fans wanted to do their take on it, right? And Hikari, I think, was just ahead of its time. I think the process was there to make it look and feel like within those traditional kind of Japanese methods, and they had access to their licenses. But yeah, even just you opening that, right? Like you can, I mean, I like it. I love this turtle, and I think it turned out beautifully. The deco looks amazing. The glitter looks really cool. I like the more subtle glitter here and the more solid color. And here and that's them you doing certain different methods of overspray with the paints that are like gonna hit you. You have like a candy paint that's probably sprayed over that lighter green where you see all the glitter, right, to make it look dark, and it's like a cool transition. But the glitter is consistent throughout.
Wow,
2014. Wow, 10 years ago.
There's a numbered card in the box.
They were a little ahead of their time there, and I think had Hikari come out maybe in the last couple of years, especially with shows like DesignerCon getting more and more popularity and really being a highlight for soft vinyl designers and soft vinyl toys. I think Hikari was trying to do something cool and different at the time where a lot of people weren't really that exposed to soft vinyl toys other than like hardcore, Sofubi collectors, which to Peter's point, then there is a sort of like a little bit of at times a bit of a gatekeeping where it's like, well, is it made in Japan? If it's not Sofubi, right? Who's the artist, right? Where, it's made in China. Well, where's it made? There is that level there because it's a craftsmanship thing, right? It's about, you're buying what the artist intended to make.
These are almost a little anonymous for my taste too, is the other issue. I like you said, I like it to know. I don't really care as much about like the units number. That I don't ever care about that, but I do like to know whose vision it is. That's interesting to me. Like if it's a great stylization, I want to know whose brain that came out of. And so this is really cool. They kind of like landed on a house style, I think, for Hikari. But in general,
he's cute. He's really cute.
Yeah, he's cute.
I kind of want him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I'm kidding.
I don't have any Hikari. That's funny.
I was looking them up on eBay the other day.
And there were some great ones that came out of that line. They really, I would say that they were one of the first that were attempting to do this, right? And then here at Mondo, we just found a way to make sure that it was I guess the common thread is that it has an artist's vision that comes through it, and who designed it, who sculpted it, who painted it, right? And not any one of them looked the same, right? There's like, this turtle here, this Donnie looks completely different from the style of Man-Thing or the Godzillas or whatever, right? So,
So, you want to make Sofubi more appealing, more widely appealing, right? Like for somebody like me, I think I'm the perfect example for this. If I'm not a Godzilla kind of guy, right? And so you guys are putting more out there, like you said, Marvel. You have these Ninja Turtles from earlier this year. Hector, you opened this last time you were on, and we saw you rip that box, and everyone was pretty heartbroken because the artwork on the back was incredible. But did I see on a later unboxing this comes with a second card?
Yeah,
Of this
comes with a second.
artwork.
Yeah. So you
This
have
is
a
so
card
great.
that
The great
is-
Aaron Conley. We were just talking to him on the phone. Really great dude. He absolutely crushed the original art on here. I'm desperate to turn this into a screen print.
Yeah.
He did our Comic-Con TMNT art this year, like the colored prints we dropped at San Diego. There was like a big George Perez ensemble cast TMNT print, and then he also did. We also did a black and white variant at New York Comic-Con. So he just keeps crushing it, and he's working closely with us on the Turtles project. So look forward to seeing the Bad Guys card because it's freaking awesome.
Oh,
it might even be better than this one.
Yeah, the bad guy one's
Sick.
really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was running the idea of soft vinyl through the lens of a toy collector, right?
Right.
At being huge fans of the original Playmates figures, right? I mean, it's what we grew up with. For me, it was more about like how do we like bring that into soft vinyl and also add the like at times the intensity of a soft vinyl design. Like how do we soup them up basically? How like what would they look like like what do I want to see a Playmates figure look like now as an adult that I can still hold in my hand and I can still move the arms and stuff around. So very much inspired by that, right? Like and then that's why they come in the card back with the card backers. It had to be it putting them into that sort of like lens of an action figure, but it's
action figure collectors look over here.
Yeah, they're like little missionary figures. They're going out to do the work, the Lord's work. And so once the easiest sell would have been here is Donatello, familiar colors, familiar stylizations on a blister card. He's just a big Ninja Turtle, and then you get him, and then for every video I've seen of somebody unboxing them, there's like a moment when they're holding it, that it's like it just clicks. You can see it in the face because we've talked about this before. They feel in your adult hand like the original Turtles felt in your child size hand. So
so it's like relative to It's like sometimes I pick up my son and I swing him around and I think, how big of a human would I need to find to do that to me in the same way? Kind of like that, right?
Exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks that, or is that crazy?
No.
All right, we'll edit that out.
No, but but the idea is that like now, so somebody gets the painted one, right? The colored one. Now people are going to be more receptive to the Mirage variants because they get it, right? They go, oh, okay, so it's like a different colorway, but I understand the figure, yada yada. And now let's say if we dropped like, I don't know, clear green, glitter ooze variant or whatever, then it's people are realizing that these are iterations on a sculpt, but they understand what it is. It's not so much new and novelty all at once. It's kind of like a gate, we're gradually walking you through the path from a traditional action figure to soft vinyl. If we think that collector would respond to it, like with our Scare Glows this year, we kind of just it just kind of worked that Scare Glow that design appealed to a soft vinyl collector and classic Motu collectors. And then so classic Motu figure collectors are just basically getting a giant Scare Glow with a skeleton inside. So that's really cool, right? But then when you get them and you're holding it and you're posing it, you get the tactile quality, you're like, I get that this is like the highest end version of what a traditional toy is.
Yeah, and I think something to point out too is that soft vinyl, I think 50% of it is the paint, and it could easily be like like what Peter was showing, where it's like a very interpretive kind of like, oh, here's like a bunch of bold colors kind of put together, and here's your soft vinyl figure, right? And that's the artist's vision. But with something like the Turtles, in this case, like I wanted to show like, oh, well, what would those original Playmates figures look if they had a lot of like good deco on it, right? Like what if the muscles were all shaded, or if all the weapons had weathering or everything. So it allowed us to do that a little more. And really focus on some fantastic deco. And I think Ray Fillet is like the epitome of what we.
Wow.
I got him here. Hold on.
Way to pick. While you go grab that, I'm going to catch up to the chat real quick. Thank you, Plastic Bubble, for the 2 Hot Wheels. Says Mr. Attack, I want that shirt. Was that a San Diego shirt?
It's a New York Comic-Con shirt.
New York
I don't know if I think it might be available on our site. Actually, let me see.
I'll look that up in a second. Sam Rock says, any plans on Mondo making a Sofubi Batman soft vinyl figure?
Yeah, that'd be cool. We at the moment we don't have that, but it's definitely something on our radar for sure.
You guys are killing it with the 1/6 animated series. Would adding that like just increase, you know, the work load for everyone, work capacity? Or
Adding what now? He said.
If there were to be a Batman soft vinyl line.
Oh no, I just it would just be a different thing, you know, like
Okay.
like you know we're doing articulated Marvel figures, right? Like our X-Men animated, and then we still have soft vinyl stuff. It's just like sometimes like the 1/6 stuff is just so straightforward. It's like take that thing that exists and with your super talented team and skilled team, interpret it and make it sure it can exist in 3D in real life. But with the Turtles in this case, or if we did a DC or sorry, with our Marvel soft vinyl line. That's more like, James Groman, what do you think Man-Thing should look like and Werewolf by Night, right?
Or like Tommy on our team, Tommy
Yes.
Hodges. What do you think Juggernaut?
Yes.
You would
And
like
Top
that.
Secret
Juggernaut,
next
so cool.
project
Yeah.
should look like.
Hmm.
There's a Top Secret next Marvel vinyl for next year.
There's a
that
lot
is-
of good Marvel vinyl coming out next
Yeah,
year that are like, I think people are going to be very shocked that we're
Careful, don't get dizzy, Kevin. It's spinning. It's a good.
Oh, hold on, let me get my vertigo medicine.
Brace yourself, bro. Take your diazepams now. But this is the Ray Fillet sample I just got, and boy, oh boy, dude, this is gonna be when if people got the Turtles and they got Mondo Gecko, they're like 75% of the story is told in those figures. But when you get Ray Fillet to me is the official, unofficial launch of this line.
All right, the briefcase is out.
Nice. You have your OG
Briefcase
in?
that I used to carry my turtle toys when I emigrated to Canada on the airplane. That's where
Oh, that's cool.
That's amazing.
Oh, Ray Fillet, there he is.
There.
is your boy.
So, dude, look, I'm pretty sure that the accessory for our Ray Fillet is almost as tall as your OG Ray Fillet.
I don't even know where those pieces went.
Well,
Fish
and so
tank.
look,
Yeah, I mean that looks cool. Like, look at
I
all the
was
little
like, this-
creatures
he's
hanging
big.
off of him.
oh yeah, so we added a lot of that stuff, right? And
Yeah, and
but
this one,
with-
you know, we reached out to our, you know, good friend and amazing artist James Groman, because he can have such a whimsical approach while at the same time cramming with detail and also making them look badass.
yeah,
Yeah.
That when we reach out to him, I was like, hey, I want an octopus on his leg, and he's like, oh, what if we had some little fish hanging out on his fins, you know, or like,
Crazy.
oh, let's tie a fishing line rope around his arm and just tell a story within the characters. And then the turtles back then, the Playmates turtles, they all had so many cool little moments that gave you a background into their character, right? Little whimsical things, or they came with whimsical accessories, or they had like little sculpts in the bodies, you know.
there you go.
I love
Does he
that
have
one.
the rocket arm?
No, this was as the swinging. He had a T.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Yeah. And
His
do you
weight,
remember
right?
these?
He would do that. He would spin.
Oh my god, I had that, dude. Holy
Burger King.
crap. I had that.
This is a
Did
this is just a nightlight.
Yeah, you know, and the funny thing about Groman is he's a guy that when we were kids collecting toys, like, you know, as they were coming out, he was designing so many of them. He was doing Barnyard Commandos. He was doing he was working on Mad Balls, working on My Pet Monster, you know, Care Bears, but he never touched TMNT back then. And so when we had the opportunity to do it, it's like the first thing we thought of is like get him in on it. So he designed Mondo Gecko.
Mhm.
And then he designed Ray Fillet.
Yeah.
And so
Baxter
Baxter
Stockman, that's coming out next year.
the Super Shredder. Yeah.
And then so the turtles were done by Alex Brewer on our team and myself.
Alex.
And so the
Brewmeister.
turtles, yeah. And then we have a few others next year we have some other designers throwing in. So it's not just going to be the same. We're trying to
show.
keep them
You're
consistent.
rotating.
Yeah, but we're rotating artists that will add their own little take to it, right? While
But
still
they
trying
all
to
go
keep-
through either Hector and Brewer at the end in terms of the sculpt, like just to make sure that there's like one kind of like
through
final
line.
flow that everything goes through. So it just ties in together. You know what I mean?
It's an enticing line, and the turtles line is almost there. I'm almost there. You know who I want to see open them in person? I want to see Ryan Ting open his.
Is he? Did he get him?
I think he did. Oh, wait, you know what? I don't think he's even going to open them. He's a
Inbox.
Yeah, he's.
I'll text him. I'll get him one he can open.
Yeah, next up on Turtles, we have Baxter, which we showed off. I think at New York Comic Con. No, we showed up at.
We showed Baxter at San Diego.
Yeah, so Baxter, and then we have we just showed off. What was it? Super Shredder.
Super Shredder at DCon.
I'm on the. I want to talk about some of the DCon stuff real quick.
Yeah,
I'm on this page. Does it have it, or these are just the things that people?
No, these are stuff that were on sale.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's not. It won't have some of the figures that we have.
It won't have the reveals.
Right. Oh, we got the Attack Peter collection. By the way,
sold out.
As someone who has never seen one complete Godzilla movie, this poster kicks ass.
Dude, watch this movie, dude. You don't have to know anything about Godzilla to enjoy this movie.
This is an amazing movie.
It's a perfect movie, dude. Like you can just get right through it. You'll have a blast.
Is this done in the style? I used to do the live streams. Was it the wax?
Lino cut. Yeah, so I carve them out of the blocks, and then I roll ink on the carving and press the paper onto them. This one's a screen print of that lino cut art. So it just I wanted to release a screen print, see how people reacted to it, because it's less work for me, frankly, because I don't have to run every print through the press, but also way easier to frame, and they're a little less expensive. So pretty cool. This is the best segment of your show yet, dude. Nice. Yeah, that's a good pin.
It's a great pin. And then the whole
Hector's wearing that shirt, by the way. Yeah. So you know it's good. He doesn't wear just any shirts.
Did the Dodgers were they World Series champions yet the last time you were on?
No. They are now though.
Yeah.
I mean, they were technically. They won during the pandemic, but people like to say it's not a real season.
It's true, it wasn't real.
They only won 70 games. Shut up. They still won.
Shut up.
That's a hard time to win when you have no one in the stands and you're afraid of getting a deadly virus. Like,
yeah, how are you supposed to hit a ball in like a third of a second?
Space Beast, check out. Get those shirts and check them out, bro.
Shirts,
they're not going to be there forever. They're actually limited. I just don't remember exactly how many.
Yeah.
This Reptar is another looking piece.
James Groman, that sold very well, and very limited. And that was actually a partnership that we were friends with the guys at Culture Fly, and is a distributed item. We loved it so much. We're like, do you have extra colors that we can put up on the Mondo shop? And they were like, yeah, we have one. So
yeah, that's just the one of the meanest takes on Reptar I've seen. Super cool. A Battle Cats variant.
Oh yeah,
from DCon. Also, wait, how is DCon Las Vegas, by the way?
It's a great show, man. I think you should consider checking it out. I don't know if it's tough for you to come down that time of year, but it's a super, like, any fan of toys should go to DCon at least once, in my opinion, because there's so much interesting stuff going on that it's just going to work your brain out in a different way, especially if you're only really exposed to mainstream American figures and stuff. It's a good way to go see what else is out there and possible.
Yeah, DesignerCon has really grown, and I think it's my favorite show of the year as a collector of soft vinyl, right? Or just toys in general, because that is where you could really see, I think, what I'm talking about, where it's like soft vinyl is so artist driven. It is so the voice of the artist and the style of the artist, and there's so many tables of just artists who are doing this stuff like in their garage or doing this stuff, very, very low batches, low runs, and some great stuff at DesignerCon. And you have a lot of the in the last few years, a lot of the Japanese toy makers have set up tables at DesignerCon.
Oh,
so
wow.
You get like the punk drunkers who've kind of blown up. You got the Marusan and the ball marks, right, that show up too, and a bunch of other Japanese toy designers that
like the OG companies come, and the people who are more cutting edge come over. You got a lot of like hobbyists who are starting small business and making their own figures. It's just like the coolest toy show to go to. Like,
It's
it's
a
just
show too, where like if you think like Comic-Con exclusives are crazy, like
dude.
DesignerCon toy exclusives are fucking nuts.
Because they're
Like,
even more limited.
oh
super limited.
yeah, because
Bigger
that's
runs?
you're going there and you're getting something that's like a 1 of 50 or maybe a
Or
1
less
of 1.
sometimes.
Or sometimes I mean we work with like Candy Bolton, for example, and we do a raffle at our booth, which is a 1 of 1 painted by her by hand, that you can win the chance to buy, right? Like it's that kind of stuff there, where like there are some things that you're going to walk out of, that you may walk out of DesignerCon with something that's a 1 of 1 or a really rare item.
Wow.
And that's what's really fun about that show.
You guys also had this Juggernaut variant. So you had the regular like brown armor Juggernaut. There was a black one for D23, I believe.
Yeah.
And then now this Colossus variant. Like the color, this mishmash of colors.
Well, that's inspired by like us looking at more traditional soft vinyl figures. So a lot of these colorways are just like what we think would look cool or what we've seen look cool elsewhere. But again, like if you did an action figure variant in this color, you may not be able to move the entire run of the figure, you know, because it would take a lot of people to want this unusual coloring of the character. But you know, with soft vinyl, since you're doing lower runs usually, and then even within those small runs, doing sub runs, like subdivisions of the run, you could take a gamble on something really wild. And this is, to me, this is the one I have on display. Like I love them all, but they're huge, so you gotta be really choosy which one you're displaying. Yeah, and this to me is perfection in every way.
Yeah,
for me.
and it's again the applying a color to a character that you wouldn't normally see. The thing with Marvel is that there's so many iterations of the characters out there that you could find other alt colorways for days just within canon, right? Just within the comics or the games or the movies or whatever, right? That and in this case for us, when we were doing this Juggernaut, we always had one thing in mind, was like we all love how Juggernaut looks in Marvel vs. Capcom. And that was the unofficial inspiration there, right?
Can't believe you just said that publicly altogether.
DK unmuted his mic just to say that's how good it is.
I see
it.
I
mean, we've said it before. It's inspired by it.
It's definitely inspired by it.
There's a love to those designs that are so awesome. How they made everyone chunky and just like big, and it was like especially during the art style in like Marvel vs. Capcom or Marvel vs. Capcom 2, so
did you guys ever have this figure when you were kids? I keep it around for like to like give an example. Like this was a Toy Biz Marvel giant size superheroes, like when I was like 10 years old or something like that, like 92 or 3. They made Venom, Hulk, and Spider-Man. And I had Spider-Man and Venom. But the Venom I used to love so much, I lost it and I rebought it recently. And I realized that like this is probably where my love of soft vinyl comes from. Because it is
a soft vinyl toy.
It's a soft vinyl toy. It's super squishy, by the way, which I love that in my high-end soft vinyl. I love the squish. Some toy collectors,
I didn't know that did that.
Some of them do, not all of them. Like some of them are more firm. It's the durometer. It's like how soft it is. But the point is that some people would see that if they're like contemporary figure collectors and think that that's like a cheap toy. But sometimes it's an aesthetic choice. Again, it's like a tactile choice. Like for me, I would prefer, if I'm paying high-end money for a vinyl figure, I like this aspect of it because it just reminds me of my favorite stuff when I was a kid, And then, but it's like the kid tactile nostalgia, but the aesthetics of something that's a little bit more high-end.
The color is crazy.
Yeah, right. Mecha Godzilla.
How does it get to
Oh
that?
my god.
And it has cellophane
inside of it. It's an iridescent cellophane.
Yeah,
that they put into the
help
vinyl.
with the camera.
They put into the vinyl while they're during assembly.
And like you can pop it out. Like you can pop the joints out. You can pull the cellophane out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We did that actually with our Godzilla. This one from a couple years back. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the cellophane iridescence underneath, like the blue in there. But he has it's a little harder to see because Peter's is like true clear. This one's tinted in this kind of like blue. So but it's in there. And like when you shine in the light, you can see like it gives it a dimensionality. Like it's like really neat.
Yeah. That's such a cool technique. DK, can you read the super chat real quick, please?
Deep Space Niner with 5 Hot Wheels. Thank you for the 5 Hot Wheels.
Thank
if
you.
Release a color change Ray Fillet like the Playmates variant that changed color on his chest when wet, I'd buy it. I'd be happy to have both.
Yeah. So when we made this one, we were like, do we do the yellow one? Do we do the purple one? And we went with this more gold color, but I think eventually we'll probably have to do an homage to the purple variant.
It'd be cool to do an homage, but then also change up maybe the
head sculpt.
Paint, change up the paint on the actual body. So like
Yeah.
it could be an homage to that original one, but maybe he's clear blue or clear aqua, right? You can, you could. That's what's fun about these is that they're you can play with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the super chat. I like the idea that if you want to do like a fun variant color, like you said, you have control of, like, you're not making thousands of units, and that makes it easy. I think sometimes that gets lost in the translation from like an action figure collector who's like, we buy the stuff that's mass produced, which, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's like, that's
no,
what
me too, by the way.
Yeah. Right.
There's nothing
And
wrong
so
with that.
it's like the more of those that you make, the price goes down. But these ones, like, these are hand painted.
Yeah,
the more of that you make, is like, the price goes
yeah,
up.
and just
It
think
takes so much
about
labor.
like exactly, and you got to think about the business of it all. Like if you're making 10, 20,000 pieces, you got to make sure you're making something that's going to appeal to 10, 20,000 people. But if you're making something that's 500 or 250 pieces, and you can do that because of the method and because you're charging more for these figures, like this is not, and that's part of it. Like if you make less, you need to charge more to be able to, make business sense, right? And so then you can take risks on colors because you only have to connect with a small group of people on it.
Not only that too, but like this is going back to the conversation about like the deco, like with a lot of mass produced toys, like the toys are injected in those colors, right? Like, so, and then there's minimal actual paint application done to the figures, right? Like it's more like whereas with all of these, especially with this style of paint where it's like oversprays, right? Like that has to be hand done. Like there's no machine that does it. There's no tempo like sticker or anything. Like it has to be hand painted. And so regardless of whether it's made in Japan or in China or in Vietnam or in the States, someone is in there hand painting these things. And that adds to it, right? So
these dudes.
Oh yeah, I love these.
This retro gaming colorway. It's just unreal. It's just like, I want to pull this out of the screen in front of me.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. That's the thing. It's like it's eventually you just get it, and then it probably, like, to me, it should be a part of everybody's collection. It doesn't mean that someone has to abandon their collection and only do one thing. I have in my collection, I have Hot Toys, I have soft vinyl, I have Marvel Legends, I got Mythic Legions, but I curate. And I curate. I can't get everything, but I get the pieces that really stand out to me, and that's just the way it is. So I think as a toy collector, you should know what Amigo is. You should know what a Hot Toy is. You should know what an O-ring figure is, and you should familiarize yourself with soft vinyl so you can know that that's like a major aspect of all this.
Interesting. DK, I'm going to read this one for you. Emperor Antonio of Seatopia, 5 Hot Wheels. Thank you. By the way, another supporter during the 24-hour live stream. Thank you so much. Says, to make DK a soft vinyl fan, Mondo would need to make a soft vinyl quintesson. Sorry.
From Transformers, right?
Yeah.
Is that, which character would it need to be, DK?
I think a Grimlock.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, Grimlock.
Dude. Safubi Grimlock, dude. If you do it like, oh my gosh, if you do it like chunky like this,
Yes. It's got to be some chunky.
I would love that, dude.
Chunky, but then you could do it in like metallic or like a silver glitter. Like that'd be so cool.
Oh, the Urban Aztec Marvel stuff, by the way. I think we bring it up every time, but that stuff I've always been
well, that's another thing. So like
objectively cool.
It's really rad.
That's soft vinyl toy. That's soft vinyl collectibles, right? It's a little different with those because there's like mini busts, right? But they're made of soft vinyl, right? They're meant to be designer toy. A lot of designer toy is soft vinyl. Him and what's it called? Sideshow. They did something amazing with that first Wolverine. I remember seeing that Wolverine bust that kid and being like, God damn it.
Yeah,
like,
super smart.
One of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. And I'm pretty jaded sometimes when it comes to toys. But that one was like, oh my God. And then I saw, and then of course they're gonna do it to Star Wars, and then his Boba Fett's amazing. And so when we had the chance to work with Jesse and be like, hey man, you want to do Godzilla? It was like it made total sense to, and then the fact that we were able to get it done and then do it at this capacity with this type of paint deco, which was very difficult. It was just, I'm really proud of us for putting this one out, and Jesse did an incredible job.
Those are super cool. They look like that color makes it look like DK, like those food dogs that, or maybe like for Chinese New Year, the dragon that comes out would
like
be in that
something I
color.
see on a I don't know, Chinese rowboat or something.
Oh yeah, on the front of a rowboat. That'd be that's cool. Can you imagine? You're in a race and this Godzilla's bearing down on you.
Roll faster.
And they're like, is that an urban Aztec? DK pulled up this photo, the super shredder.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait for this. The hardest part of this job, dude, is knowing that this thing is floating around out there and you don't have it in your shelf yet.
But you're gonna get it before.
I know, but I want it. I want that super shredder now, dude.
now.
That thing is a weapon.
Good thing it's soft vinyl.
Not that soft.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll like scratch some itches at least.
But, yeah, it'll
be soft vinyl for the most part, but the little spiky bits, they're too thin to be in roto. So those will probably be like a PVC.
So definitely don't.
It'll still be you remember the old Super Shredder, the Playmates one, that when you whatever football pad with the spikes, like you could bend it.
Yeah.
Like I loved, one of my favorite things of that toy was grabbing the spikes and like bending them over and just like putting them in front and like have them like hit the turtles like that. Like he'd use them as a weapon. So I kind of want that feel to the spikes where like you could kind of bend them a bit. Even though it may not be soft vinyl for the spikes, but everything else will be.
All right, I'm gonna try to switch gears real quick, but this will make sense because you guys mentioned finding the right property to get someone on board, and as someone who's right on the edge right now, I think knowing that both of you are fans of this, if something like this gets made, that will be my first purchase. Don to Don is this anime that some friends put me on. I read it was so good I started reading the manga. I started reading the manga first before the anime came out, and the artwork.
Cool guy.
No, just because like
we're
getting
all impressed
by all the detail. Look, I did it before; it was cool. All right. No, I'm kidding.
But like, oh my God, it's cold in here.
The details pulled me in, and so
and
so now the anime is out, and it's a lot of people, a lot of friends are watching it, and some people it might be polarizing. Some people might not like some of the themes or how it goes, but I've noticed a lot of Instagram posts. I'm like, liked by Attack Peter.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, do you guys? And I was like, do you guys like Don to Don?
Oh yeah, dude. I absolutely love that show. Hector turned me on to it. I'm not gonna watch anime just because it's out. It's got to be like something that really like connects and clicks. And just this week or this month, I should say, I guess whenever Don came out, I discovered two that I really like, and is that one and one called Pantheon. If you haven't seen it, it's really, but it's not as funny. It's kind of a bummer.
Pantheon's isn't that the AMC?
Like 2 years ago, and never heard of it.
Is that a different show?
It's like an AI thing where the chick's dad dies and he re-uploads his consciousness into like some.
Yeah. Is it an AMC show or is it an anime?
Not Netflix. No, it's animated. It's like American anime.
Yeah, it's like Invincible.
Yeah, well, better animation.
Better.
But
are we gatekeeping? It's like, where's
the animation? The Invincible's a great show, story, love you, but it's like the animation is better.
No, Dan to Dan is my favorite show right now.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for every week for a new episode to drop. I remember I had not read the manga or anything like that, but I remember it was like I saw it on some like YouTube top 10 animes coming out in 2025 type or 2024. And it was on there, and I remember the premise was so wacky to me, and I was like, okay. And I checked out that first episode. The song,
the best,
gets played 90 like, all the time. My son, he can't watch the show because he's only 7.
Right.
But
no, not good.
He loves the intro, and
my kids too.
Played that song. He plays it every single day, and I love it. I have not gotten over it, and I love that freaking song.
If you guys are into that show, it's so much of it is inspired by Ultraman.
Yep.
Like and so
Godzilla,
it's not the same thing. I'm not gonna say it's the same thing, but I'm saying like the opening sequence, the graphics, the colors, all that is like really dead on for Ultraman. The main aliens are inspired by a couple of different Ultraman aliens.
Oh yeah, I've seen some side by side inspiration.
So just saying, like if you haven't gotten to Ultraman, check it out.
Yeah, but I loved it. It's so good. The characters are great. The chemistry between the two leads is amazing, and it's just it's such a great show. I recommend it. Highly recommend it to anybody.
As it gets later on, there's more like kaiju related stuff, and like there's so many different themes that it, like you said, it's so wacky, it's hard to describe. But you know, when you look at some of the character designs in the first few episodes, I mean, if any of those happen to become a soft vinyl toy, I'm like, that for me, that would be, you know, I'm jumping into the pool head first, and I'm gonna get
the I forgot their name.
Turbo Granny.
Well, Turbo Granny would be fun and would be great, but
the aliens, dude,
the aliens from the first well, they're in multiple episodes, but from the first episode, that's like the perfect soft vinyl toy.
Yes,
right, like those dudes, right, with their
the human versions.
Yeah, the human versions. Yeah.
Someone made them. Who made them, Kevin? Someone made them. They're on Big Bad.
Mega House, is that a brand?
Are they soft vinyl?
Yeah, but they didn't make. I think they're soft vinyl, but they didn't make the alien form, which is that's what I want really bad.
They're just like guys in suits. Have you guys seen DK's dance?
Do it, dude.
Hold on, I got DK. No, I got you, DK.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
sick.
I have it on. I need you to help me hype up the next one. It's not even.
Oh yeah, I did see this.
It's Thursday. This is the theme. I need you to join me. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Oh my God! What?
It's so good. Dude, that's perfect.
Nailed it.
It's perfect.
Something like that.
It's so good, man. I sent that to so many people.
What? Why?
Tell me more. Why?
What the hell, dude? That was insane.
I love it.
Oh my God, that was crazy. We need you to do that for 24 hours straight. I'm gonna have it with the music.
Oh God.
Yeah. Have you been practicing?
No.
That's really good, man. Yeah, everybody I know who watches it, I sent that to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're famous, DK. You've somehow become even more famous. Okay. All right. One super chat from Space Beast. Thank you so much for the 2 Hot Wheels. Says, what's the next events Mondo will have a booth at?
WonderCon, I think.
WonderCon in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
In
March, end of March.
Right.
All
right. Yeah. I mean, that brings us to, we're like at the year's end. Do you have, I mean, Hector, do you have the most excited release or reveal from Mondo from 2024?
Whew.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough because there's a.
Can you even remember everything?
There's a lot.
I feel like Jesse's piece was a big one.
Yeah, the Was it this year?
The first one? Didn't it come out this year?
No, that was last
No.
year.
Oh, no way, man. Time is merging. Scareglow was a big one this year.
The Scareglow soft vinyl for sure was a big one for me personally, because it was one of those like passion projects, and it was great to see everyone's reaction to it, and that people fell in love with it as much as I hoped they would. So the Scareglow soft vinyl for sure. Scareglow 1/6 and Scaremare, which is special to us because it was a character. Scaremare was a character created here at Mondo, and officially canon in Masters of the Universe. So that's a big deal, right? It's
very cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. So that release was very special. I think that
Getting the turtles in soft vinyl was a big one.
Vinyl, yeah, that was
for me. We did a Godzilla 3-pack, all Monsters Attack 3-pack, and I loved it because it was like so many friends worked on it together, and so like Hector and I designed it. Hector and Tufan Caesar sculpted it. Tom Whalen did the packaging art. Did Hillary paint those with you?
Yeah, she painted most of them actually. She painted she painted like 2 variants, and then I painted the other 3.
So it was just a cool project because everybody kind of jammed on it. Buzz Off, which is out now.
Buzz Off is oh my god, you're right. How did I?
Yeah,
there's a lot. Buzz Off. Buzz
Off was a big one because that's another jam piece.
Yeah. That was a big team effort here to work on Buzz Off.
Yeah, it was like Florian kicked off the designs, then Hector and I jammed on it a little bit. Then Emiliano Santa Lucia took it and added his point of view to it. But then Tommy Hodges got the sculpt, and really he was the guy that like made a amazing smoothie out of all these random fruits. And
wow, it's great
sentence that I said.
What a sentence.
Yeah, and then Mark Bristow did absolute incredible work painting it. And so it's just, again, as a toy fan who gets to work at a toy company, a figure company, it is the coolest thing knowing that all these like studs work on our team, and just being able to see what they bring to it. It's just such a cool thing. So this is really high up there for me. The Buzz Off is my favorite Motu figure Mondo's ever done, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, we're doing a deep dive into it next week. I think
that's right.
Say that. So
yeah.
You can check us talk about it a lot more, because there was a lot that went into this guy. It was really like Peter's saying, like all of us kind of putting our heads together and being like, what do we want Buzz Off to be in this Mondo version, and reinterpreted, redesigned kind of thing. So he's one of my favorites. This was a big one. It's a good way to end the year too.
Yeah. And dude, Ghostbusters.
Oh my god,
guys, Ghostbusters.
That's probably our story of our year.
DC stuff. Yeah. Like it's huge. There's so much stuff.
The Ghostbuster stuff for next year is going to be great.
I did. I finally got to release a version of Takaro, my kaiju, which was a big thing too, because I was like, it was desperate for people to get those. The people who are waiting on the black and white ones, they're imminent. They're like shipping very soon. I just got confirmed yesterday, so that's really cool. That's awesome. And then Mecha Godzilla we put out was great. Those are awesome. Those are a great pick. Those were great releases this year. It's just it's a cool thing, man, that we get to do this. Like we could run down a list of things, and it's just awesome because we're very sensitive to the collectors out there. We don't want to put anything out that the collectors don't go, hell yeah. Like Lion-O, was received super well. Right. That was the kickoff of a line. So like we pay attention to that. We want to see people kick ass. We want to see people find these figures as kick ass pieces in their collection. So it's been an awesome year, really all around, a lot of successes.
Lots of cool stuff. Hector, I know you gotta get going. Thank you so much. It's cool that we can talk for like an hour and a half about soft vinyl, but still have so much from Mondo that we're like throughout the year. There's still all these reveals that you can't even recount because there's so many. But thank you for coming through and hanging out, and good luck on. I don't know. There's, that's your release. You guys have a stream next week?
Next week we have a stream. Yeah, well, we're gonna do a deep dive into Buzz Off, and then kind of recount some things, and then and give away some stuff. Don't miss Mondo streams. We always give away stuff, so don't miss it.
Word.
Yeah, it's a Christmas stream, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
end of the year, holidays,
Thanksgiving.
spirit of giving.
Yeah.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Cool.
All right, well, thank
Peter,
you guys, and thank you for
thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
man.
stopping by.
Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Bye.
Peter, do you have a few minutes to talk about your?
Yeah, I'll give you a
your-
few
your
more minutes. I'll give you a few more minutes.
character? Because
Yeah, let's do it.
Joel brought this up last week or a few
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
ago, 2 weeks ago. And so when I first saw you, like, this is your, I mean, can you tell people about this
So
character?
so it's funny, like in 2019 I came up with this idea for my own original kaiju design, because I was selling so many prints based off Godzilla and King Kong and Ultraman. I said, I better come up with an original one and see if I can wedge him in between all these prints and see if people dig it. So I did an original design for my character that I named Takaro, which is basically a name that's an homage to like Gamera, which is like, you know, an homage to giant turtle, or Godzilla, which is Gojira, which is like Kujira, which is like a whale, and they add, you know, the phonetic sound at the end. So I had Takaro. I actually originally called him Takora, but that exists, believe it or not. And so Takaro, I just changed. Yeah, so I just changed the
like
name. At the
Taco Octopus?
An octopus, yeah.
Yes, Taco Wasabi. I just made the connection.
There you go. And so I just made something that was fun to draw, and I sold the prints super well. And then during the pandemic, I really spent a lot of time with the YouTube streams and the folks that would watch and collect my work, you know, designing more stuff featuring him and other monsters that he fights and interacts with. And I launched a Kickstarter a few years ago for a book and a figure and a print and a bunch of stuff, and did super well. But and then I switched jobs I was working at Skybound at the time, and so I switched over to Mondo. And then once I started working at Mondo, my time like became super limited, so it became hard to juggle doing the book and the job at the same time. So Skybound is going to ship all the figures. We did a plushie of baby Takaro, super cute. He'll be shipping. Yeah, you can look. I think you can probably find it if you Google it, but he'll be coming out. He'll be arriving. The figure, a black and white edition, will be arriving. A limited edition screen print. And then I'm going to be continuing to work on the book on my own time and just release it little by little, or when I can, because it's like a whole book, a story of Takaro and his human family, and it's all like carved and illustrated, so it's taking a long ass time to do.
Oh, you're carving it.
Yeah, a lot of my artwork is carved, like you saw in those streams. So
right,
at least more than 50% of the book is going to be carved, because so much of the work has already been carved. And it's just a certain look to it.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to rush it. And so people will now be receiving, like in less than a month, all the stuff in the Kickstarter minus the book, which I'll keep working on. But yeah, I just wanted an original. Look, my only goal getting into this whole world was I wanted to have my own style that people would recognize when they saw it. Then be able to create my own character and characters. And then eventually, if I was lucky, before I hung it all up, I wanted to have a figure out there. And the figure would be something that people would collect, right? So it's kind of crazy that it's all happened, and it was like a big goal of mine. Just I could check it off the list, because now people know who Takaro is. There's Takaro fan art out there. People got Takaro tattoos, which is crazy. Awesome. Yeah. And so yeah, man, it's really, really cool. Yeah, this was the Kickstarter page. You can probably see the plushie in there somewhere. I do have there he is. Yeah, there's a baby.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
He's a good dude. Yeah, man.
He's a little.
So the book will still happen. It's just not going to come right now with everything else. But that screen print I just signed off on yesterday. I've been told the Japanese is mostly accurate. Don't look
muscle
too closely.
Tissue, stomach, triple heart.
Yeah. So this image is an homage to like a series of kaiju artwork. That if you Google kaiju anatomy art, they like this artist in the 70s or 80s, I think, made a whole series of prints or images of like like dissected kaiju.
Yeah.
And they're not official images, like they were never licensed or anything, so they're kind of hard to find and get like reproduced. And so I made a Takaro one. So I always just my fantasy is that, you know, Takaro just like exists among all the other kaiju stuff. He doesn't have to be like the #1 famous kaiju or anything like that, but I just want him to exist among it. And the only rule I have for Takaro is he's always supposed to be the shortest kaiju. Like, so because he's like he's a short king. So intentionally have him a little shorter than any other kaiju, any other figure and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he's coming, man. He's an awesome figure. Mondo got its own colorway. That was part of the original deal when I was still working at Skybound. So the Mondo colorway is that one, yeah. So it's unfortunately sold out. It went super. It sold super well. We had the last few at DesignerCon. They sold out there, and yeah. So there's another color variant looming, but the people should be getting the black and white version very soon.
This one,
that's an example of the anatomy prints. But you'll see there's like a bunch of like a red background ones of like Ultraman and Ghidorah and all that. But yeah, that's the idea. And so I just aped this, you know, did my own spoof of it.
Word.
This colorway, I think I also messaged you about it. It's such a great combination.
Yeah, I love it, man.
It's neon.
Yeah, in Miami, you see these colors everywhere. And so that was my idea because Takaro is also the first kaiju of Miami. And so his story, his whole story takes place in Miami. Well, his Earth story. And so, of course, when we were coming up with colorways, I wanted to have colors that like could be explained canonically. So in my mind, this is like when he gets, you know, like an octopus can change colors, you know. So like, you know, he goes into full rage mode. We call it Vice City Rage, and so it's like the blue and pink and the yellow eyes, like it's berserker mode.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. It kind of gives usually that color combination for me. I associate it with like cyberpunk, like Jason
for sure. Neons and stuff.
But it's just a great match together. Yeah, maybe like he's coming out of the water.
Yeah,
and like the lights are reflecting off. Yeah, man. This is dope, man. It's such a cool.
That's
color.
how I explain not deciding on an official color for Takaro. It's an octopus that can change colors.
It's part of
genius.
Part of the backstory.
Yeah.
I can never decide. Yeah.
You have. So what was your the top Mondo? You mentioned a lot of the
oh dude properties. Yeah, like my favorite stuff is all the soft vinyl stuff, like our big scare glows. I loved it. Our Juggernaut, I loved it. The turtles I'm in love with right now, and the Godzilla UFOs are so awesome because this is such a like really it's just a crazy thing to be able to say you work on this stuff. It's just if you're a collector or a fan of this stuff, there's not a ton of it being done. This is a very small group of people who make this, and then an even smaller group who has the official approval of Toho, you know, the licensor. And so it's just like a very like a big honor for me as someone who collected this stuff forever to be able to design, work on, and release those kind of things. You know, Godzilla is like a very protected IP. There's a lot of rules around Godzilla when you're working on Godzilla stuff. You can't do this, you can't do that. So to have that team say thumbs up, you know, is a great feeling. The Mecha Godzilla figures I did that sold out was a great feeling, great release. It's awesome, man. It's a fantasy life. I can't believe I get to do it, and that's why I'm very grateful to you guys, to all, you know, our toy tuber friends that help us, you know, get the word out, and then the people who we know the names of the collectors who come out and support and buy multiple variants. Like we talk to them online all the time. You know, we recognize them at conventions. I'm very, very grateful to all you guys because you let me live this dream I had. And growing up in Miami, it was very, very unlikely that I'd get to work in this business because you have to know someone and be plugged in and connected and blah, 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 blah. So it was a major like undertaking. So being able to do it, very grateful.
Yeah, man. Congrats. It's
thanks, dude.
I think that's why I wanted to have that conversation, you know, because I am kind of curious about buying and you are
You're bi-curious?
I'm bi. Are you gonna buy this time? But like you know, you guys are trying to make that kind of I don't want to say jump, but include like the more comic booky or North American properties and things like that too.
It's just fun. It's hard to explain it to someone until they hold it, but maybe we can send you guys some stuff so you can check it out. But yeah, it just feels good in your hands. It's fun. It's a weird thing. It's not meant to be like only buy this thing. It's the best thing.
Yeah.
It's just like also try this. Like imagine if you met someone who had never had tacos, bro. Are you gonna tell them don't eat pizza anymore? No, dude, but you gotta try tacos.
Okay, that's a good way to put it.
You know what I mean?
That TK gets.
Yeah,
He loves
that's
tacos.
true. Never had a crunch wrap.
If you're still watching at this point, I put a poll in the chat. It says, "Are you into soft vinyls?" There's already am, no, or you're bi-curious. If you're still watching this long, it makes sense that there's 0% for no, because otherwise, maybe you just love DK or something. But thank you. But let us know in the chat. I don't know. I'm very close to pulling the trigger on something just for.
If anybody picks up a soft vinyl figure and doesn't get tremendous joy out of it, I will personally reimburse you your money for it. How about that? If you're not stoked on it, if you've never gotten one before and you try it, maybe you're like, I want to try, see what, and you're not into it, email Mondo and we'll deal with it. We'll take it back.
I think the last time you were on, I was talking about Keshi and then like the simplicity of that little toy, like when you got it when you were a kid, right? And that figure that doesn't move, that is posed in a way that the artist was like, this is how I want him to look. And it's one mission. It only has one chance to captivate you.
That's a great way to say it.
Right? That's it. You look at it, you're not going to pose it. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's sometimes just one color, one tone, whatever plastic it was in. And it's like, that's it. And if you get that, you grab it and you look at it and go, that's freaking cool. And that's what I've been doing with Keshi.
Yeah. Remember Monsters in My Pocket? Did you remember that series?
I think so, yeah.
It was like a Keshi line, but there was all like monsters and cryptids and things like that. Dude, I don't even know if like those are affordable anymore. They're probably like insane, but they were so awesome when we were kids.
Yeah, and I had a whole bunch from Hong Kong. I didn't even remember owning, like Dragon Ball one, different anime ones.
Muscle.
The muscle one I never got into, but I recently got some, and I went hunting with Dole when he was here in town, and we found some. But I think that's very close to the soft vinyl, if not even like the manufacturing process.
It totally is. It totally is because like you just described it perfectly. And it's like an aesthetic. It's a tactile quality. Like, doesn't that feel of those figures like satisfying?
That little, oh my god, it's the little squish.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. It just all
a little squish, dude.
Just a little softness.
I've been seeing Kevin's like evolution with the like soft vinyl and the Keshi stuff, because we went to a flea market and this guy was like digging through like a bunch of them, and he wasn't like that like months ago, but I think every time we have you and Hector on, he just like, all right, I'm
is that the problem?
I'm more interested every time. I'm more interested every time. And then like last time I went with you, and when we met up with Dole as well, right? You're like, oh, you're just going through the bins. You're like, I need this one. I need this one.
Well, he told me about Canada Man.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
And so I had to find Canada Man, and the guy had it. So you got to grab it.
Plus, you know what? You've seen so many cool things in the figure space. If there's anything left that's like really unexplored, it's already appealing. Because like, how many times do you get that feeling? Like when I first got it, when I got my first Gundam, it was like 2 years ago. And I'm like, I get it now. It's so cool.
I don't want
like I avoided it forever, and my buddies were like, you gotta try one Gundam, and I built it. And I love it.
Topher Khan says I'm gonna need a Dole selfie. Oh my god.
Careful what you wish for.
They're gonna do it. Mondo's gonna. They already have a Dolverine.
Yeah, right.
Hey, dude, I don't know. The next time you come back, I don't know what the hell you guys are going to get me looking at in terms of what to buy. I just found out this little guy's arms move.
Yeah,
sick.
But yeah, this is that feeling. You just hold on to it and you just admire the look and the finish, and that's all it is. It doesn't have
more
to be
often than not. Another piece of advice as a grown-up collector here, like you're more likely to get buy-in from your partner, spouse, roommate, to have soft vinyl figures in the main part of the house than any of the action figures. Guaranteed. 100%.
I think it is that gateway, because we have like a lot of Tokidoki, kind of like the static art toys, right? Blind box toys. So I think you mentioned earlier that's maybe like a stepping stone into into this this part of collecting.
Hell yeah.
Oh, dude. Hey, Peter, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I think we're gonna wrap it up now. But this was honestly like such a fun conversation.
It's awesome, dude. You guys are great.
You know, for me, I like to learn more about, you know, the like maybe the manufacturing, the process, and the business side. But like tonight I barely even opened anything, just this dude. And it's been an absolute pleasure with you and with Hector as well. DK, any pleasantries?
Pleasantries? No, Peter, and like thank Peter for coming back
Thanks,
on,
dude.
right, as well, right? And like, you know, learning that I did not know that Ultraman was, you know, that popular in Japan.
Big,
I knew it's popular, but I didn't know it was that popular. And then, you know,
there's so much Ultraman, by the way. There's like current Ultraman episodes happening now. But I would say, like, if you need a gateway, check out the Netflix animated movie. It's really good. It reminds me a little bit of Big Hero 6, a little bit of Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
and a ton of kaiju stuff. You'll dig it.
And just to bring it all the way back, I didn't know that. Well, I guess we should have saw this coming. There's like Ultraman wafers.
No,
like
there's Ultraman everything, dude.
Ultraman everything.
They make like snacks of everything.
Yeah.
No, but Ultraman is everywhere, bro. I'm telling you. Dude.
Yeah.
This is what you've been saving in this tab in the.
Well, just to bring it full back to the
snacks to snacks, bro.
Oh,
snacks, man. Like, all right, come on, it's the crackers.
All right, well done.
Stop.
Snack
attack.
Stop saying that. My
You
God.
can't stop me. You can't stop me.
I have yours and Hector's and Mondo Instagram linked in the YouTube video description. Where else should people be checking out?
Yeah, just I'm Attack Peter anywhere. You can follow us all online. mondoshop.com is the website if you want to be if you want to scope out what we have in stock. And yeah, just make sure if you're into any of the drops, if you're ever feel like you're gonna miss out, just turn on post notifications. I tell people all the time, just turn on post for Mondo, just turn on post notifications, you know?
Yeah. There's been I feel like there's a lot of stuff that can appeal to a lot
and
of
curate your collections, bro. Like not everybody needs every single piece. Everybody needs to pick a lane because we're not gonna slow down. Everyone's like, bro, stop making so many cool things. I'm like, no, dude, just be very selective.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
DK and I are going to record a new episode of What I Miss for You, which is recapping the toys, announcements, and reveals of the week. It'll be available tomorrow on Patreon and then everywhere else on Monday. So go check it out if you're able to. Thank you, everyone who supported the 24-hour live stream. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't archive streams greater than 12 hours. So if you watched any part of it, tell the tale. Write songs about us, anything like that, because that's how it's going to live until next year. Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you guys
for your time. Everyone, if you have a second, don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't, and have yourself a great night and keep toying around. Peace. Oh, we can't see DK do the dance if we have this screen on.
Everyone wants me to dance. Dance for a wafer.
How do you feel when people super chat for you to dance? You're basically a stripper.
It's thanks to Peter right now. Sending it to everybody right now.